Do you ever go green with envy when you visit your friend's house? Not because of the 17 bedrooms and football field sized garden, but because their plants look absolutely perfect. Well, I'm here to help. You too can have perfect plants. All you need to do is pop down to your nearest IKEA and pick up a bunch of their plastic replicas that everyone seems to buy. Have you seen how busy that section is? What's that? You prefer live plants? Great! That was a test to see if you have the minerals for this video. It seems like you do, so let's crack on. I know it's boring and time consuming and no one wants to do it, but just looking up the plant briefly before parting with your hard-earned cash in the store can save you a ton of bother. I mean, what if you're unknowingly about to buy a Calafea? Put it down and buy a cactus instead, much more well behaved. Look, the store wants to sell you plants, so it's not going to give you the full story on the tag, is it? It's not going to say, Calafea zebrina, prima donna with lovely foliage in rude health, but good luck getting it in rude health because this guy loves to turn crispy brown. Oh, and place it somewhere bright and give it some water. Not going to sell many plants, is it? So, to get to the real truth, you got to look up that bad boy on the good old internet to see all its foibles. Now, I reckon you can get most plants to like your home, but it might just take a while to get there. I mean, look at my Calafea zebrina. It's taken me about 8 years to get this guy on side, and to say I've enjoyed the process would be a lie. It's made me miserable trying to work out what this little diva wants, and I wish I knew that before vowing to take her in. Dechlorinated water, by the way, and I'll leave a link in the top right corner right now. The friend who makes you feel inadequate with perfect plants in their home will have got there by making a fair few mistakes along the way, believe you me. We've all bought plants without having any idea where we're going to put them. I'm still doing it, in fact. Look at my dining room. It's getting silly. I just have to admit to myself that I'm an addict and it's not healthy. Mrs. Sheffield is getting fed up with having all her spaces where she displays her trinkets taken over by my green friends. The problem for me is that I have plants in places that aren't great for them. I guess the pros know when to say enough is enough. Look at my snake plant on my fireplace mantle, for example, the poor fella. He's so desperate to see some of the sky that he just keeps reaching up as high as possible on his tiptoes. Look, I don't know how to break it to you, but there's nothing up there but a ceiling. To see the sky, you're relying on me to move you nearer the window. Yeah, I know, wishful thinking, eh? Look, all this waffle is just trying to say have a plan for what you're going to buy and where you're going to put it. A snake plant wants bright light, so don't buy one and stick it meters from the nearest window. Do as I say, not as I do. What's with this idea I keep hearing that you either have a green or black thumb? I mean, my thumbs have always been skin coloured. They only go black when I've trapped it in the door. If they go green, then I've got bigger problems on my hands. Or thumbs. Let's be serious for 10 seconds then. Looking after plants isn't an innate skill you were born with. It's not like being able to play Mozart at 5 years old. It's just knowledge you acquire by learning on the job or listening to Berks like me on the internet giving out tips. I mean, everyone has a black thumb really, including yours truly. Yes, you. I destroy plants left, right and centre, but the key thing is I hide those mistakes from my viewers so they never have a chance to find out. Only joking, of course. I love sharing my misery on this channel, as you well know. Rule number 1 when it comes to Plant Club is we do not talk about schedules. The second rule of Plant Club is... you get the idea. Schedules are a plant's worst best friend. I mean, best enemy. Just ditch the schedule, okay? They're free spirits and don't appreciate being put on a schedule. They'll down tools if you do this, and by down tools I mean they'll get grumpy and refuse to look beautiful. The cheek! You might be merrily watering your collection every Saturday because a plant app is telling you to do so, but honestly, this is a recipe for disaster. You know what I'm going to say, of course, but if you're new here, then only water when the soil is dry. This is the Sheffield Made Plants mantra. Repeat with me. Only water when the soil is dry. Only water when the soil is dry. Doing this allows oxygen to get back into the soil to let the roots breathe. Soggy soil equals rotting roots, which equals plant death and all the self-doubt that brings. And when you do water like there's no tomorrow. Wait, that's the wrong analogy. Water like there is a tomorrow and you've got lots of time on your hands. Very catchy, eh? The plant experts whoever they are, adjust their care based on the season. It may sound simple, yes, but mistakes are still being made. The main one, of course, is watering, but if you were paying attention and following the advice I just said, it shouldn't be a problem, should it? To feed or not to feed, that is the question. If there is light and signs of growth, then feed away, my friends. If it's dark and gloomy like the climate I'm lucky enough to live in, and you don't have grow lights, then feed you should not, young master. Growth periods are related to light and not necessarily warmth. Most of us live in warm houses in the winter, so temperature isn't really a problem. If you're not, then you might want to look into that. But that's it. Everything else you can do pretty much any time of year, and that includes repotting and pruning. Changed soil does not death make. Pick the bones out of that. I do a deep dive on how to repot your plants successfully in my online course that's linked in the description. Check it out, lots of great stuff there to take your plant game to the next level. One of the best tips I was ever told was to be careful with new plants from the store. This is something I really wish I knew when I was younger. Not because they'll bite or anything, but because of their hidden companions. I guess one or two of them do bite actually. Anyway, I used to trot along to my local garden centre, pick out a few Joes I like the look of, brought them home and left them to mingle with their new housemates. I'm still talking about plants, by the way. But what if you brought home more than you bargained for? A cheeky bug or two. The worst bugs out there will eviscerate your collection before you know what's happened. Thrips and spider mites, you know who you are. Don't try to act all innocent. You might feel like a person ready to be committed, but quarantining your new visitors for a couple of weeks will really pay off. Check them over every day to see if anything is lurking. Specks, leaf damage and webbing are the main signs. Don't be too alarmed if you see a gnat because, well, no plant is complete without a gnat or two. To win on autopilot at this plant game, you got to embrace the world of plastic pots with drainage holes. This way you can water without a care in the world, as long as you let the soil dry out before doing so again. Did I mention that? I know what you're thinking. They're ugly, right? Yes, keep a plant in a plastic pot sat on top of a plastic saucer and you won't be winning any housekeeping awards anytime soon. Get yourself some nice porcelain pots to keep them in, however, and no one is any the wiser. I love them because they hide a multitude of sins. They hide the ugly pot, they hide the gnats having a party at the bottom, and they also hide the fact it's grossly root bound and you've been ignoring it like a neglectful parent. The roots coming out of the bottom is a dead giveaway. Oh. Moving on, I did an experiment a few months ago where I watered a bunch of plants every single day for a month. You might think, Richard, you psycho, no plant can survive that. Well, you'd be surprised. Do check out the video, but let's just say the drainage holes earn their pay in this video. Experimentation is the spice of life, I think. And a plant pro is never afraid to experiment. Who are these plant pros? Anyway, failures happen. For some people more than others, present company not excluded. But the main thing is that we learn from these mistakes. Look at my Califare Eldergrass. You'll notice straight away that I didn't heed my own advice and plonked him straight into a porcelain pot without any drainage holes. Well, before you get too judgmental, that's me experimenting, and for the most part he's doing great. Until I overwatered him and now, well, the leaves. I've no doubt he'll bounce back, won't you, buddy? And I've learned a valuable lesson to never water a plant without drainage holes blindly. Why do I not listen to my own advice? Where's my moisture meter? Any mistake can be turned into a triumph. The mistake that was leaving Sheffield Jr. alone with my plants for more than 5 minutes has been turned into a triumph. Sort of. Look, I'm trying to put a positive spin on it, okay? I've removed the damaged leaves and turned them into cuttings that are now rooting in a glass under my grow lights. I'll either be able to grow them out into new pothos to either keep or sell, or I can add them back into the planter to make it even bushier and for the little rascal to do the same thing all over again. Plants and kids really don't mix well, especially ones that love throwing heavy objects into the air to land who knows where. So maybe folks with the best plants don't have kids. Is that the tip here? No. The tip is to propagate yourself out of a hole. I had a Tradescantia tricolour that I'd had enough of, but before I lobbed it in the bin, I took a bunch of cuttings to start a new plant with and voila! New plant is well on its way. That video is on my Patreon page, by the way. Link in the description. Your friends have amazing plants while you struggle with ugly ones with yellow and brown leaves simply because they know how to play the game and you don't. Check out my Adansonia in my bedroom, for example. Yellow leaves at the bottom. Ugh, gross. What do? Cut them off, of course. It's like it never happened. Genius. Like they say, hate the game and not the player. On that bombshell, why not check out this video next? It's a banger, believe me. And subscribe.